It's fun to go new places and not get discouraged when we're going miles without catching one.
Take that joker in the damn tournament.
Chatterbaits with a better hook and perfectly customized skirt. Just remember, you wouldn't be without live scope. It's an early one, Cole. Where are we even going? What do we even put in the map?
Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. We're going for somewhere that Bermuda, I think, is where the tournament's at. We're going out of Elizabeth City. Let's see how long it takes to get there. Oh, it's only 19 hours. No problem, bud. Test balls, test balls. Okay, we're gonna make some chatterbaits up quick. I actually stopped at the Ass Pro Shops and got some wire. I have a million chatterbaits, but it's really hard to find some that are super weedless to wood. As you guys know, chatterbaits constantly hang on docks, wood, laydowns, brush, cypress trees like we have out here. So got some of this wire, and I don't like putting a full weed guard on mine. I think it messes the action up. I think it's hard to hook them. So we're gonna try to use this wire, make a couple bristles of weed guard with this little wire right here. That way we have a couple of these tied up, because I think it's gonna be pretty key to be able to fish quick and efficiently, especially in practice, without getting hung. Well, I don't know what this is. Looks like it is a Wicked Weed Pills. Wicked Weed, it's pretty solid actually. Asheville, North Carolina. We're gonna make a couple different color variations. Like I said, we're making them just a few, and then we'll make more as the week goes on. If this seems to be the ticket, we're gonna make a white, bright, muddy water color. We're gonna make a natural shad color. We're gonna make a green pumpkin color, and we're gonna make a black and blue color. That's pretty much the only damn colors that I ever use or need, so let's get to making quick. Things are probably a little more yellow than what they actually look like, because as of right now, they have a little bit of what they call the pollen on them. This will be the natural-ish shad one. It's like the shimmer blue skirt that I love. I don't like to put as many tabs on my chatterbaits because I'll end up pulling a bunch of those skirts off. We're gonna do that guy, and then I just had the top color somewhere here. 1.5 tabs. We'll probably do like 1/3 of a tab of this is all. 3/8 of a tab. Like that. Usually I would tie these on, and I got my bobbin, but I don't got a vise, and like I said, it don't matter that much to me right now. We just gotta see if they're eating it first. Eating. Simple, super badass color. It's our bright guy. Brightish, you get it. We had a little bit of fun with the green pumpkin one kinda. Let's throw some purple in him. We'll just do like 3 strands. You'll see what I'm saying. We'll go back color. That brown, 1/2 tab of this scaled root beer. This is why I like to tie them too. You can get a better overall mixture of your colors from top to bottom. Like some of this brown's gonna end up towards the bottom. We're gonna have to kind of shuffle it around, if you know what I'm saying. Same with this purple, and a little bit purple. Looks like a lot, ends up being about 2 tabs. I like to fold the top, what's going on top, over what's going on the bottom. Okay, now we need to have a science fair project. This is the fun part, the difficult part. We're gonna use, for now, I'm not sure if that's what we're gonna end up rolling with, but I love this hook. Gamakatsu 5/0 604. I've also made them with, I mean, basically every other hook I own. That 10111 is a good hook for it too. Let me show you how this is gonna work. I make mine in the poison swingtail mold. So as you notice, there's no, I've modified it and made some heavy Demiki rig style jig heads. So there's no spot for a weed guard, which we're gonna add that shit. Also, this hook doesn't, nothing, it doesn't fit. And look how small that eye is right there. So we, in theory, we're gonna put this blade on there. So we would have to open this eye up and put it on. But when that little eye would have to, let me take these out so I can show you. When that would have to pivot inside of this eye, so that have to connect, we end up with a shitty range of motion and just really, I don't know, just really not what we want, to be honest. So we're gonna cut this eye off. Sacrilege, right? We're gonna make 3/8 ounce. I think 3/8 is gonna be money for fishing a lot of this stuff. So let's see how the hook shank, lines up with how we're gonna put this in. Obviously, well, this goes like this. Obviously, we're not gonna wanna leave that bare. So when we make our little gap, is that where we want our hook to come back? I'd say so. We cut it at the bend, remember that? And it's a 5/0 hook. We need the 5/0 size, but we need to make this so it's not gonna come out. We do that with this. It's a long process, but it's like I tell everyone, I got all these skirts, I got all these hooks, I got all these baits in my shiny boat that's not so shiny, it's matte, but you guys get the point. I can throw precisely one of those at a time, so let's make the motherfuckers perfect. Let's take our hook, we'll glow him, and since that goes up and down, we're gonna bend it to the side. I messed it up. Just like so. So all that's gonna do, obviously, is it's gonna hold it like this, because you can't just have it in there. That'd be a problem. But I think that's gonna make the shank too short. Yep, it did. We're not gonna cut it so high, and we're not gonna bend it so low. Cut this one about right there. Blow them back up. Yeah, man. It's all right. We don't need it all the way hooked over. So you might be scared to do this with hooks, but this is literally the forging process that makes them stronger. It's called tempering. You don't want to do it a bunch of times, but it's still a little short. Need a little bit longer. 6/0 might be necessary, just so we can cut that. All right, that's gonna lay down nice. We need to get back to this wire. Let's cut a couple wire strands. Let's see what 2 does for us. It's gonna be interesting to do this, but we're gonna do it. Brad would be not impressed. We want those to be touching together so they come out of the same spot. We're damn close to it. Close this easy. Be nice if they could sit in there better. There we go. That looks pretty good in there. All right, it's easy. Easy part. As long as it pours right. Yes, it is. I was wondering, usually it fires out of there. Hey. Okay. That's about what we wanted right there. That's money. For some reason it filled in that eye. It's just enough to, when it comes close, and because these chatterbaits, what happens, we'll show you more when I get them all built together, but since the blade's not obviously connected to the head, so the blade's gonna hit a tree and the blade will deflect over one way, but then that's gonna make the chatterbait roll over. And if it rolls the way that it went, that hook drives right into everything. If it hits grass and bogs the grass, then you rip it and it vibrates its way right through there. But a tree just frickin' gets it. So when it rolls over with this into a tree, instead of that point hitting it, it's gonna deflect back. Like this. My finger is the tree. Blade hits it, rolls over to come across it, gonna get snagged, bam, goes back. In theory. Oh yeah, he's got a little bit of pink shim on him. Pink shim. I want to make sure all that you don't want any of that paint on there. Wish there was a way to like cover the paint or cover the eye so it didn't get painted, but honestly, over time, over 10 minutes of use, it'll chip off anyway as that blade squeaks against it. And we're gonna throw a little light on. Like that. Usually, I would drill a bigger hole in that too to increase freedom of movement, but I forgot my drill at the house. What's the fun in that? perfectly straight, so he runs good. But look at that, I mean, that's why you don't use the hook eye. That's why you use this little piece, because look how big that gap is now of movement. Yahtzee. He's not perfectly straight yet. That's something though, it's close enough that we'll do a little twisty twist, toony tune on the boat. Throw ourselves a little clip on. Also, I would usually put a keeper on, tie a keeper on, and I probably will if I end up throwing these a lot in the tournament. For now, I'll just super glue my trailer on. This is obviously my black one. Black and purple, black and purple, black and purple, black and purple. Make sure we stab it dead nuts in the middle. It's important to have your purple on the belly because there's a lot of bait fish that are purple bellied, apparently. That was a joke. That guy looks about fucking good. He's got himself a little twirly twirl, and we're gonna trim those just long as they need to be. Now, we don't wanna keep a damn bass from getting hooked, you know what I'm saying? You guys probably don't get that. That's a joke. So that's all we did. So that's about the angle we want. We could probably spread it a little more. These wires are gonna weaken quite a bit each time we bend them, so I'm not gonna mess them too much. That's what the fuck I'm talking about right there. Yeah, bud. Those all turned out freaking money. 4 chatterbaits with a better hook, a different keeper, and perfectly customized skirts that you can't get anywhere. But just remember, you wouldn't be shit without live scope. So I'm gonna show you guys the exact baits I got tied on for this tournament for practice starting tomorrow. I do wanna let you know the video is sponsored by the Deep Dive app. If you're not familiar with the Deep Dive app, I'm going to be using this to help me out a lot here. This is a brand new body of water, it's massive. And there's a couple different things on the app that are going to be crucial for helping me find fish and mostly find fishable water. Albemarle Sound is huge, and as we've talked about, massive winds going on right now. And this is one of their awesome features. It's called the wind effects map. So you can see exactly what direction the winds should be pushing the waves. That's the direction it's blowing really hard. And you can see what areas of the lake or the sound in this instance are going to be affected the most by wind. So the more red is going to have stronger wind, and the orange is going to be a little bit less. And it's just really, really helpful because, you know, wind can kind of, it's hard to tell looking at a map a lot of times where that wind's going to hit. That will be crucial to see how far we can run and where we can run as this tournament kind of goes on. And especially, you know, when I'm practicing, I might be in the back of a creek. I'm like, hey, nothing's happening. I'll look on the app and it says it's gusting 30 miles an hour. I'm like, I'm going to trailer to a different ramp. I'm not going to take the boat there. Another thing that's going to be really cool is going to be the stream flow map. This place is made up of so many rivers. And again, it's hard to really tell you guys how big this place is, but from here to here, this right here is like 35 miles. So you got all these rivers and you can see which ones have more flow. You know, you go down here to like the Roanoke River and you can see which sections have more water flowing through them. Now that's gonna be important because I'm likely gonna fish there the next 2 or 3 days in practice. And it's if we get a lot of rain, which we're supposed to get an ass load the next day and a half, I'm going to know what areas there's a better chance is gonna be blown out with mud, what areas are gonna be a little bit more protected, what areas don't have any stream flow at all. So those are things we're gonna keep an eye on. It's really, really helpful. You know, on top of that, of course, you can go down here, no matter what major body of water you're on around the country, you can see the exact baits that are recommended, different times of day, different water clarities, what baits. You can click on one, you know, swim jig, you can tap on it. It's going to show you the exact places that a swim jig's good on, the cover to look for. There's videos of how to work it. You know, it's a great place to get started, especially, you know, if you're just getting into bass fishing. It's a very, very overwhelming thing to get into. Or if you're like me, you're fishing the highest tournament levels, you can use some of these stream flow, water wind direction maps to really get a good idea of what's going to change, because things change a lot in a week. So if you want to download the Deep Dive app, I'll put a link right at the top of the description. Whether you have an iPhone or an Android, it's going to have both of them links down below. So check them out right there. Well, I think I'm all tied up and ready to go for the Pasquotank Albemarle Sound. It's exciting. It's fun to go new places. I think when you listen to fishing podcasts all off season and then into this season, when guys get asked where their favorite place or most excited place that they're most excited about going, a lot of people have said this one here because it's something new. Definitely fishing these tournaments. You know, it's only my second year doing it on the Elite Series, and then, you know, third with the Opens year. We go to the same lakes and bodies of water over and over and over, and that's because, you know, the infrastructure's there with the ramps, the fans and everything to have the weigh-in right there in that city. And of course, those cities are paying money to have us come there to support. They understand the impact, the economic impact of 103 anglers spending their life savings on gas every day, and media and the entire bass staff showing up, and how much money that brings their town. So that's a great thing that on both sides, both parties win there. But what it ends up being, of course, is we go to a lot of the same places. Well, this place, like I said, it's got like no damn history. We're sitting here, I'm looking at it right now. We're in one of the little small creeks of this place, and we got a canal right there behind us that the house is on. Looked at the water, we walked on the docks, probably like 1.5 to 2.5 foot of visibility, so not too bad. And then we got the bigger part of the creek right out there. A lot of the same. We got docks, a little bit of riprap and random man-made rock, but really like I said, prevailing structure here, the prevailing cover here is going to be the cypress trees, all different types of deadheads, laydowns, wood cover with a sandy, muddy bottom. There is, you know, some grass, some paths I've seen, you know, on Google Earth further up some of the rivers. We'll be checking some of that. Honestly, I don't really know where I'm gonna go tomorrow. I think I'm gonna go towards the Chowan River, the mouth of that, which again, could be a damn chore to get to even the mouth of that based on the waves that we saw today. It's one of those deals where I'm not gonna not practice there, because you can go slow and you can get to just about anywhere in a 21-foot bass boat like this one. So that's a nice thing. Dude, I got like 20 some rods rigged up right now, which is pretty normal for me for practice, but I have a little bit of everything. Really, the biggest thing here is I don't think I'm gonna be fishing more than 8 to 10 feet deep, which of course is not in my wheelhouse. I love fishing offshore. If I could, I would prefer to fish offshore, but everything I have tied up is pretty much dialed into fishing this shallow cover, and that's fine. Some of it might be offshore, some of it might be, you know, some stumps on some of these points, or a laydown, or a deadhead sticking up, you know, that's out 100 yards off the bank, but likely it's gonna be in 8 feet or less of water. So, you know, when I'm starting thinking about this phase right now, they definitely, I don't know the water temperature, of course, that's something we're gonna keep close track of as well, but definitely going to be getting close to wanting to move up, especially this entire week. I've been watching the forecast. It's been, you know, it was 85 today. It's been in the 80s several days this week. The trees are all blooming. I mean, everything points to the fish should be up shallow, ready to do their thing or close to it. We have a moon coming in, I think, at the very end of the tournament is the full moon, I believe Sunday or Monday. So there's just a lot of pull, a lot of stuff going up that way. But the bad thing is, or at least the confusing and thing that'll throw you off, is there's a cold front coming in, massive cold front, really. Highs in the 40s and lows in the 30s for a couple days this week, right before the tournament starts, after those 85 degrees the last week. So what's in my head is, you know, I love tournaments like this. This is my absolute favorite thing. If we could have, you know, tough conditions the first day starting of the tournament, that's what I personally would like, because guys get dialed in practice, or at least in their you know, studying of the fish should be going shallow, the fish should be moving up, the fish should be moving up, and all of a sudden you get that cold front, you get that major weather front that comes through, and the fish kind of pause, and they like to suck up tight to cover, the hard cover especially, so some of this timber. They'll maybe, if they were up on the flats in some areas where they're a little bit more vulnerable to, you know, whatever type of negative effects of their life, whether that be a predator or weather conditions that could screw them up, or rising or dropping water, they tend to get dumb, and they want to do fun things up super shallow in weird areas when they're spawning or getting ready to. Well, as soon as that weather change happens, boom, they're gonna be sliding back out to somewhere a little bit more comfortable. And that's what, you know, I love fishing isolated cover. I love fishing offshore hard cover. So I'm hoping what that's gonna do is pull these fish out on the edge of the trees, maybe to a brush pile. Maybe there'll be some riprap, some isolated rock pile or something that I find out offshore. That's what I'm hoping. We're gonna friggin' see those. So I wanna find out, first of all, this place is massive. I wanna find out where a population of fish lives. And tomorrow is going to be the start of that front where the front's about to blow through. It's gonna rain all day tomorrow. And then after tomorrow, we got 2 days of practice that are gonna be cold. I'm thinking, you know, tomorrow, we're gonna need to find some fish. It might be a totally different way that they're biting than during the tournament, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a lot of search baits. So just tied up these chatterbaits. I got one tied up right here. Definitely gonna be throwing a chatterbait around a lot in some of this shallow cover. Skipping it up behind some of these cypress trees, banging it against them. If I find some grass, winding it there. Covering water. This place, I can't tell you how big it is. Miles and miles and miles of cypress trees, backwaters, canals, rivers, everything. Great bait for covering water. Might be something where we find them with that. In the tournament, we end up flipping a jig. We flip a creature bait. We throw a drop shot to some of those trees. Right on the outside of the areas we found them, but we don't know where they even freaking live yet. Same right here. We got a Vega frog tied on. That's gonna be something we can fish up really shallow. Another way we can cover a lot of different water. This one's probably my favorite way to get up there and fish up shallow. Especially, it'll be a bait where if we find some cleaner water, and that's the 6-inch whale. This is a bait you can throw up against those cypress trees. You can throw it in the grass. You can throw it right down next to a laydown. Big draw power. I love the 4-inch whale, but this thing will pull them a little bit better, and they might not get hooked, but I don't care about hooking them in practice. They're gonna come up and flash on it. They're gonna roll on it. They're gonna show themselves. You can even throw this when you start seeing some light spots, if I start seeing some bedding fish, just to get an idea of where those fish are. So I'm gonna keep this in my hand a lot. I'm throwing a weedless version. Of course, I can turn this whale into a harness version if I want to, but I'm throwing the weedless version because just like that chatterbait, I want to be as effective and efficient as possible in practice, not getting hung up. If I don't get a fish hooked or I don't get that fish to the boat, no big deal. It's practice, right? And then this is one of my all-time baits that I love fishing. Really looking out back behind us right here, I'm looking at, you know, old wooden docks. I'm looking at little man-made riprap. I'm looking at cypress trees. That reminds me of some of the shallow places I've fished growing up so much in Nebraska. This guy's an absolute killer. Crush 50X. I think this color is going to stand out good when I'm fishing some of the rivers and going up into some of the creeks during practice in the next couple days. So I chose this more of a bone color. Of course, we can mix it up. We can throw a chartreuse, we can throw a shad color. I'd love to get on a bite where we can throw that Milliken color, because that green pumpkin can get absolutely bit in this watercolor right back there. That's something that I definitely have tied on and ready to go. Now, when we're talking about flipping some of these areas, I'm definitely gonna keep some baits that I can, you know, really aggressive baits that I can throw to fish, whether I'm trying to decide if they're bass on forward facing, or I just want to cover water. I want to get every fish's attention in the damn spot. Big old rubber jig, big old bodega trailer, sorry, that's a different way to pronounce it. But the 6-inch bodega that we're coming out with, you guys saw me catch some fish on it, a lot of fish this fall on it. Absolute killer. 6-inch Congo craw right there, boom. Feels like you literally have a piece of grass and your bait's fouled the entire way when you pull it in, because it has so much flap with these arms. And of course, we can rip off the outside, we can rip off the inside if we want to mix it up, change it up a little bit as well. Do I have it up here, Cole? I'm not sure. Yeah, I do have it up here. This guy's another one. We can cover even more water than a frog. I'll probably have this in my hand more than a frog tomorrow, especially with the rainy, windy, cloudy conditions, the old buzzing bait. And once again, like I just told you with that Congo craw, we can decide to do a couple different things with it, whether it's keep the outside, keep the inside. This is awesome. I can skip this bait really good because of this flat surface right here. It planes really well because of the flat surface, but these little kickers in the back, man, those inside flappers are just doing that on the surface, just like, you know, anything on top of the water would, whether that be a little bait fish, a little snake. You know, they probably eat little snakes, little turtles, stuff like that. Turtles got the little flappers. No, they don't got the little flappers going. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore, but it's freaking pre-spawn spawn period. You got to throw a buzz bait, right, bud? I'm buzzing. I mean, something's buzzing. My bait's buzzing. I'm buzzing. It's all buzzing. And then a couple little finesse guys. This isn't going to be a big spinning rod tournament necessarily, but it's kind of turned into 2025 where everything turns into a little bit of a spinner rod and tournament. A couple different baits I'm definitely gonna have tied on. This bait just won the damn Bassmaster Classic. Little 6-cent divine worm, that plum blue fleck type color, awesome in this tannic watercolor, so that's gonna be on there a lot. I got a lighter weight in there as well. That weight is, let's see, I can feel it. That is a 1/16 ounce size that's in there. Just what I had tied on from fishing the other day. Caught a good one on it the other day, and it's always going to be effective. And then of course we got a little strobe shaker, 6-cent strobe shaker. If we find some fish You know, this is gonna be, to me, this will be more effective once it gets cooler, when those fish that are maybe up shallow on the bank, maybe in some of these canals or in some of these deeper backwaters that kind of pull out to the middle, that's when we can try to pick them off with this little strobe shaker. Or, you know, if we find some somewhere that are on bait fish or balls of bait or next to a bridge or something like that, this guy's gonna be really, really effective for us as well. But that's the start. We're gonna see you guys first thing in the morning. I got a lot of work to do to get mentally prepared and do more map study. I feel like I've been studying for this tournament for 7 months or 6 months since the schedule came out, because of how big and overwhelming it is and the fact that I wasn't able to come pre-practice. I'm nervous for this one, but I'm really excited. There's big bass in it and they're around the type of cover that I love to fish. We need to keep our head down and stay focused and not get discouraged when we're going miles without catching one. And we just need to work our ass off. This practice, I'm gonna have to work my ass off to find what I'm looking for and put together the winning strategy. So with that being said, MFers, for the Wicked Weed Brewing Pills, I'll catch you guys soon. I'm out of here. Peace. Look at this, I found a new toy up there. There's smoke coming out of this thing. Yeah, man. We need to find a flying one. Ready to spook one. I just want to hit one flying. I don't want to just do the trap method. Ooh, moth guy. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, get it on the move. Pretty much wiped out all the bugs in North Carolina. You can go to bed now. Cole, put this down your pants. It's on your pecker. Oh. Little black and blue jig down the gullet. Fish number one. Not what we're looking for, but it's a fish. Just caught a 3-pounder on a buzzbait, but my shit wasn't on right. Bam! Drop shot fish. Little drop shot fish. Yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. Homemade chatter, boy. Yeah. Take that joker in the damn tournament. That's the second tree in a row I had a bite on, too. 4.5 pounder.
I'm not gonna say I got things figured out, but the water's a lot warmer than I was really expecting. I was thinking it was gonna be in the mid, maybe upper 60s with as warm as it's been, but it's like 70 to 74 in areas in some of these backwaters. I ended up making a run up the river, which I was not planning on doing, but I kind of launched in a shitty spot that I wouldn't have launched in if I really had a chance. So here I am up the river. But yeah, just checking some river backwaters. I'm gonna check some current break stuff, and I'm gonna cover water with this little homemade chatterbait we made right there. That was cool.
Straw mangoes. Haven't had them in fucking ages. Yeah.
Leave me one. You stole my fucking grape
You
yesterday.
get a fucking limeade.
Whatever.
Well, good morning, MFers. Welcome back out to the tank. Just launched the boat and realized how much what happened last night is gonna have an effect on the next couple days, and that is it rained like 2.5 to 3 inches I think last night. I didn't get a good shot of the boat ramp because there's like 5 guys waiting on me to launch, and I want to get the hell out of the way. It's right back there actually. There's like 6 inches of water in the parking lot. Pretty much couldn't even see where the ramp was, just had to kind of cinder next to the dock and hope that's where the ramp situation was. It wasn't the best ramp anyway, and park it where I could park it in. 4 to 6 inches of water in the parking lot. Hopefully she doesn't come up anymore, but kind of post frontal today. North wind supposed to blow 15 to 20, you know, sunnier, 25-30 degrees cooler outside, and it looks like kind of more of the same tomorrow. Tomorrow looks like lighter wind, but even cooler outside. I made a couple more of my weedless chatterbaits last night, and they're badass, man. You can freaking throw this thing into a damn tree or a brush pile or whatever with that weed guard on there. The only problem is they seem to be pretty bassless also. I had 4 good bites yesterday and landed 1, which it's practice, not the end of the world. I'm not super pissed off about that or anything, but we need to figure that out. So I made a couple more with a little bit different hook. I'm gonna probably swim jig around this morning, put a big white one on. I think fish are probably gonna be slid up this morning into some of these drains where the water can come in. It doesn't look like it got too muddy or anything, but fishing a totally different creek today, so we will see if this creek is a deal. So far, man, it's fun. It's a cool place, but we got literally 2 million acres of water in play. Everything's big. A fish. This place is crazy. There's actually like really badass milfoil, but there's so much of it, we gotta really cover some water to find the good stuff. But we chattered one and we're on the board. I lost him. Nothing huge. 3-pounder. Good sign though. First fish that came up and ate that 6-inch whale right off of the tree. That's a nice bait to be able to throw here too, because you can fish it around a lot of this cover, which is cypress and
This spot's got a ton of milfoil.
Good morning, MFers. Welcome out to the last day of practice. This is day 3 on the tank out here. So, quick little recap of my first 2 days. Day 1, ended up running up the Roanoke River. Wasn't really planning on it, but wanted to check it at some point, and it was too damn windy to get around down where I wanted to fish, so I was like, screw it, I'll go up there. Found one stretch that had quality on it, caught some, missed some, and then caught some small fish. Day 2, yesterday, went to a new big river area. Just did not love what I saw. Cold front kind of kicked in, north wind kind of kicked in. It was blowing in there. Frickin' was in super rough stuff like we always like to get into apparently. And speared a giant wave, filled the boat up to the top cap with water, so that was super fun. The good part was we came back to where we're at this morning and I caught 2 or 3 good ones. I think it looked like, anyway, there's definitely could be a shad spawn going on. I was there from like 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and there was tons and tons of bait around some of these points with cypress trees. So got up here at the ass crack of dawn, which is when we've been getting up every morning, and we are going to check and see if the shad's up spawning around some of these trees. It's the coldest morning by far. I feel like temperature's like 36 degrees or something right now. Oh yeah, wow. The water temperature went down another 8 degrees overnight. So that's fun. The cypress trees could be a good place for these fish to kind of hang out and hold some heat, I would assume, down here. So maybe this is something that's somewhat of a safer pattern, but we're gonna see this morning if they're spawning. I mean, the water was like 72 to 74 when we got here, so that's why you don't look at the water temperature. Today is a very important day to find something and find some bites. We're gonna cover a shitload of water and see what that does for us, I guess. 2 million acres of water to cover. You legit are just gonna have to get lucky that you had a good inkling and practiced in the right areas, because you can't even, if you were just constantly moving and going, you couldn't cover, 5% of even the rivers, let alone the spots, but the rivers that we have in play for this event. And it doesn't seem like we're gonna be able to move around too much with the winds. So without further ado, let's go see if we can rip some. Oh, the shad. Another time. I was a big bass, I would just come eat those. Yeah. Well, I don't know what the f is going on in Alligator River. I fished it like not long enough yesterday, probably, but I wasn't getting any good feedback, so I said, it. About went in. You alright? Yeah. Goddamn, I can't believe how easy fucking live scope makes fishing. Just fucking go out to the damn middle and start ripping. I was gonna say, these fish will not freaking eat this damn drop shot. Until this guy did. Just had to go look at it for an hour. Shouldn't take him that long to eat a damn drop shot, Cole. Good place to come catch a 6-pound limit. See if I can get in 97th instead of 104th. Wait, no. Can only get 102nd now. All right. A little heavier, maybe. That's what I do in tournaments. I like to freaking lose them, trying to boat flip them. Not tomorrow, bud. Big. Not that big. It's a good one, though. Almost 4-pounder, 3.5. Skin hooked. He came up and freaking donged it. All right, this area's got him. Let's go find something else. Richard Peck. He don't come off ever. That shit I took this morning was 4 times that size, Cole.
It still came out that quick.
Still came out that quick, dude. I didn't even have to push, just fell right out. Better one. All right, let's get out of here. That's a show enough. 2.5. Maybe 212. 2.5.
I'm losing the light. I'm almost done. Not almost done, but. Oh, thank you. That's a wrap on practice at the Pasquotank Albemarle Sound. Man, place is huge. I don't know how many times I gotta say that. And very, very inconsistent. It's like you'll catch a couple good ones or a good one, and then you'll try to duplicate it, and you go the rest of the day or hours and hours and hours doing the same stuff, nothing. So, I mean, like I kept saying over and over, you basically can cover like 5% of even the 20 to 30 mile long rivers in practice that we have available to us. It was a lot about kind of getting lucky. Obviously, we have educated guesses at where to even go and where to start to go practice. And I went back and checked some of the stuff where I thought I had quality fish on day one in the Roanoke River, and they were not quality today when I went back to check them. So we're kind of going to be locked into where we caught them this morning. Drop shotting. I don't love it because, I mean, it's 2-pounders and a couple 3-pounders, but there's no way there's only small ones there. There's got to be big ones around somewhere. Going to put my head down and fish a lot tomorrow, and it's going to be a lot of swim jig and chatterbait, some drop shot. The wind is going to be a factor the entire tournament. Tomorrow, in theory, it's going to be the best, and it's still going to be terrible, man. Like, we're going to somewhere that looks close on the map, and it's like 45 miles away. And 20 of that is going to be in the Sound. I think the morning ride is going to be worse because we're going with the wind, so we got to go with those 3-footers. And on the way back, at least we can kind of, you know, put the nose up and try to get up on top of them a little bit better. We're boat number 100. We have a long day tomorrow. I don't hate that at all. I'm not worried about beating anyone anywhere tomorrow, and I think people are going to spread out quite a bit. This is going to be a massive challenge. Practice was a huge challenge. It's always a challenge going somewhere new, but at the same time, every one of these fisheries is new to me the last 3 years, and really almost every fishery since then has been new. 8 out of the 9 are brand new fisheries to me, but this is a special kind of challenge where I've never fished anything remotely like this, and it's 2 million acres of fishable water. So mentally, I'm not out of it, and I'm gonna freaking get after it. I know a lot of the guys I've talked to have done way worse than me in practice, and so We just gotta freaking get in there and go fishing and cross our fingers that a damn 7-pounder, 2 or 3 pulls back instead of only 2-pounders. Really, I'm hoping anything pulls back. It's gonna be cold again tonight, so it's gonna be a fun one to watch, I think, guys. You're gonna see a lot of people struggle. You're gonna see some 30+ pound bags weighed at the same time. Without further ado, I'm gonna drink my orange juice here from the Food Lion. Only the finest. All right, Effers, we'll see you in the tournament. Peace.
I'm not sorry. I can't help this love like mine.